Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight?
Aha!
Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at canva.com.
I am so excited for this spa day. Candles lit, music on, hot tub warm and ready. And then my chronic hives come back. Again, in the middle of my spa day. What a wet blanket. Looks like another spell of itchy red skin. If you have chronic spontaneous urticaria or CSU, there is a different treatment option. Hives during my next spa day? Not if I can help it. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
You know, I when you say, you know, be who you are, I agree with that. But I have to acknowledge that everything's still really lopsided against women in business.
Fair.
So I also think you do what you got to do to look out for yourself. And then at the same time, I think there's when I think of communication, I think, who's my audience? And so I shift my communication based on, you know, the way I talk to you here is different than when I might do a webinar versus standing in front of CHROs or something. I don't know that it's would have any gender implications, but I don't know. I think
that's why you're more likable. Like if I were to compare myself to you, I would never do that.
I am not going to disagree.
If I were to compare myself to George, you're more likable because you do that, and I don't.
What's going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tinkup here with another episode of The Barf. This is the look at the week that was, so you could be prepared for the week that is. And we have a third head on the screen. If you're watching, we have a third head on the screen. And I've been wanting to do something with this guy for a long time, William. You get to talk to him every week.
Yeah.
Not so lucky. I get to sit on the sidelines because I can't hang with you two.
Not all the salmons make it up the stream.
No. We'll see how I fare with you guys today. But for those not watching, we have George LaRock on the Barf today. George, what's going on, brother?
Was I supposed to bring barf or what's...
You could, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You'll barf by the end of this.
All right.
Just make sure you have a trash can.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's going to be a fun one. We've got a lot of stories to get through, so why don't we just jump into it today?
Mm-hmm.
William, mid-sip, I got you, baby. Call you out.
All right, George. Amazon's attempt to flatten management structures has corporate staffers worried about being shut out of promotion opportunities. This comes from Bloomberg. So, in my opinion, flattening an org typically aids in decision-making, agility, et cetera, so you have less bureaucracy and all that type of stuff. So do the corporate staffers have a legitimate concern? Yeah, of course they do. Have you ever played musical chairs? There you go. Anyhow, I think what they're not thinking about, what they're not talking about is promotions outside of Amazon. Amazon's on your resume. You can get a job somewhere else. So it doesn't necessarily that you're going to move up there. Okay, cool. Less chairs. Got it. But having Amazon on your resume, you can get a job somewhere else. So stop worrying about that stuff. What's your take on that deal?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Flat organization's great for productivity, agility, especially. But those employees are right. There's, it limits the upward mobility. It's not the classic org chart. Doesn't look that way. So if you're gonna stay because of the recognition you get, the compensation you get, the challenges, the learning. But you're not going to get the title. You're not going to build out an org. And I think you made a great point. That is an amazing stamp on your LinkedIn profile or your resume. And like many things, the pendulum swing, back and forth. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point down the road, Amazon changes it up again. But yeah,
I feel like this is going to be a dark day of news because I got some shit coming up that's going to be like, what? Like, it's just one of those things.
Okay.
So, anyhow, all right. Companies accused of bias against transgender employees might get a free pass, right? So we all know the climate that's going on now, but the EEOC basically just hit delete on multiple gender identity discrimination lawsuits, citing the new executive orders, essentially saying they're gone. So whatever you had in the works has now been pushed aside and you're just left out to hang, essentially. And this is not going to go away. There are more and more that are piling up every single day. I forget the number. I saw a number of like initial cases and then potential cases after that. Whether you're, I don't know which side you guys are on, but
You
one
mean
way or the other,
male or
people are
female?
getting screwed here.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, see, this is George. This is why we get canceled. Right here. This guy, right here.
No.
This
No,
guy,
you said
this
which
guy's walking
side.
the line good. I'm being nice.
You said which side, dude?
Yeah.
Seriously, it seems like it was a binary question that you had.
It's so curious to get your thoughts. I'll just throw it out there, William. I'll take your, might not be safe to ask you, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
It's one of those deals. George used the word pendulum. The EEOC and the NLRB both sway with the Republicans or Democrats. And in both parties, you have extremes. We are dealing with an extreme Republican right now. And so it's going to be the rigor that's going to be applied to the EEOC and NLRB is they're just going to cut everything. So they're going to make it for pro-business on both sides. And that's the reality of the next 4 years of our lives, at least. So there's nothing we can do. What we could have done was the vote in November, but 77 million people voted for Trump and Vance. So, it's not like they don't have a mandate to do the things that they said they were going to do. Right. And on the recruiting or on the trail, when he actually talked about the EEOC and LRB at one point, and talking about like these things, we shouldn't even have them. Like it was just more extreme than what you would normally get. It's like, I don't understand why they're even there. So it's like, oh, okay. So thing is duck. The advice I would give to everyone is just duck and cover and fight through the next 4 years. And then hopefully the pendulum swings the other way and we can come back to some type of normalcy in both those groups. Yeah. George?
Yeah. This is one of those hot topics. I think my take is this. First off, I feel for, some of those lawsuits represent real discrimination, real lack of merit, real, and it makes me sad to think that, some folks who are going to get their day in court might not get their day in court. All right. That said, maybe there's an opportunity coming in this market because I think it says two things to me. One, to your point, William, a lot of companies are going to do whatever the hell they want to do. They're not going to have those regulations guiding them. On the other hand, you don't need regulations.
Right.
You need
to do the right
you
thing.
set your policies, you set your governance, you decide what kind of culture you're going to have. And I'm not going to say which one's right or wrong, but the talent's going to go. The market's going to decide. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of pain and fear as that happens. But, I feel like those more open and inclusive environments are going to be more effective and attract better talent. That's my opinion. But this is where we are, to your point. So
thank you, Ryan. Okay, George, approximately 60,000 federal government workers have taken the buyout offer. This is from Reuters, so you can kind of look that up. I believe, first of all, that number is going to increase because I think a lot of there's mulling and discussions. I just think it's going to be in the hundreds of thousands, so maybe 200,000 not a million or anything like that, but I think it's going to grow. I think that as an individual, if you're working for the government, if it's RTO and you're living in Hawaii and they want you to be in, Northern Virginia, that's just not an option for whatever reason, then you've got to look at, okay, well, you know what? A buyout isn't a bad thing. A buyout gives me the ability to work the way I want to work, where I thrive, and solving that algebra. It's sad on some level, like I get it, but there's a lot of people, especially the temporary folks, that are just being fired. They don't get anything. They're just simply they'll collect unemployment, but they don't get a buyout offer. The fact that these are full-time employees, they get a buyout offer, you got to almost solve the, is this right for me? And so what's your take on that?
Well, I've got a friend who's in one of the government. He's in that mix. Now, he didn't take a buyout. And when I asked him how he's doing, checking in, what's going on, he said, this is what he said. I think it jives with what you're saying, William. He said, I'm over here. I've got these skills. I do this great. He's in technology. I do this work. And he said, but now I wonder, now I really see how it must feel in the private sector every day. You could be fired any moment with no recourse. He said, and I could go make a lot more money in the private sector. And if I have to live with this uncertainty, maybe that's what I ought to do. And I think that's the reality of what's upon many of them right now. And it could be unfortunate for us when some really skilled folks in some key areas, use that calculus. So it's using buyouts to right size a business. It's a tried and true method. I think it's being done in such an abrupt way, and it feels draconian. And it's and they've even had to bring people back, the people that were working with the nuclear stockpiles and stuff. So
my bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
y'all push the buttons.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't we're not going to talk about ATSs. What's you bring me on this thing? What other hot button political issues are we?
We're pushing, George.
Oh, we're going to hit them all.
Yeah. We're going to get them all, because I want to throw this one at you now. This is normally we keep it light and fun, but we figure
that's not true.
You're here. Let's just get it.
You're good. Right. You're in good hands.
So, yeah, IT unemployment rises to 5.7%, and obviously it's being tied to AI hitting the tech jobs. But I want to read something to you here, and then I want to get your take. I guess let's go George first, since he's the guest, and then William, I'm sure you have something to chime in on here. But so IT unemployment has spiked to 5.7% in January, which is up from 3.9% in December. The national average unemployment is 4%, so it's out. It's just about there. It's outpacing just a tiny bit. My take on this is pretty basic. We're seeing a clear shift towards the AI infrastructure that we've seen in the news, right? Companies laying off or reinvesting dollars into into a different area. I think this is what we're seeing. But William, we talk about reskilling. George, I'm sure you will as well. This is where I think some of the outdated or legacy certifications, people stuck with these are kind of like, what do I do, right? The MCSEs, the Cisco certified people, or like A or A+ certified and C. So all these people who had 2 decades of security, right, coming out of school and go get certified, and they can do what they wanted to do, are now not, because they haven't continued to upskill. But curious to get your take there. Where are we at in your mind with the rate of unemployment, or is it going to go higher in tech? Is it going to settle down? What are your thoughts here?
Hello, I'm Ruth Thomas, host of Comp and Coffee, where we break down what's next in the world of compensation management. From pay transparency to performance alignment, we explore how businesses are rethinking compensation to drive impact, equity, and growth. So if you're shaping the future of pay at your organization, grab a cup and tune in. Listen on the Work Defined Podcast Network.
Another really easy topic. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think so. I always fall back on something I learned from my dad. My dad was not in tech. He was a big commercial electrician. And so there were times when, as a kid, he'd be gone for all week long and come home on the weekend because he had to go where the work was. We moved, or I was born in New Jersey back, and I was born there because that's where the work was at that time. We moved back up to New England where my dad was from because that's where the work was. Now, that's geographic, but what is it going to take to get you where the work is? It might be skills that you don't have. It might be a relocation. It might be a shift to another industry. It might be being the tech in insurance or healthcare or finance. It might not be in the epicenter of Silicon Valley or something like that. So I think, that's where my mind goes, which is it's going to be painful. I think it's going to probably go up, but at a macro level, everything's confusing right now because 4% unemployment. Okay, that sounds pretty good, but the trend in tech sounds like there's more pain coming. That's where that's sort of my simplistic way to think about it.
Think back to a technological riff. We have several to point to, but all the people that were skilled in on-prem, all the IT people that understood how that game was played, CD-ROM, they'd be sent to you, you'd load them, you'd then select the things that you wanted to turn on for the organization, and then SaaS. How do you do that? Those people had to go through a huge transition of learning learning a new skill. And that was just the way that software was delivered. Yep. My question, and it is not a trick question, I promise. My question, when you look at a number like that, is that net loss, meaning those are just people, those were folks that were cut, or does that number include the number of tech jobs that were added?
I believe that it's just dealing with the losses and the unemployed, that it's sort of cumulative within a period of time, because they don't count the long-term unemployed normally. And there's usually a separate stat that looks at job growth. And to your point, I go way back. Like I remember I was running a desk, full desk recruiter. And there was a time when, if you were a programmer in the IBM AS400 environment, we couldn't find you fast enough. And then suddenly nobody was coding on that anymore. And tech used to go through these cycles and people had to reskill and upskill. And we haven't had that before because it was just more fluid for the last 20 years.
Yeah. And it was language based.
Yeah.
You learned your ASP, Perl, JavaScript, like Java. You just throw in different things, and it was actually a turn on to a lot of tech people. When you say, be who you are, I agree with that. But I have to acknowledge that everything's still really lopsided against women in business. Fair.
So I also think you do what you got to do to look out for yourself. But at the same time, I think there's when I think of communication, I think, who's my audience? And so I shift my communication based on the way I talk to you here is different than when I might do a webinar versus standing in front of CHROs or something. I don't know that it's would have any gender implications, but I don't know. I think
that's why you're more likable. Like if I were to compare myself to you, I would never do that.
I am not going to disagree.
If I were to compare myself to George, you're more likable because you do that, and I don't.
Yeah.
So
you've got to be true to yourself at the same time. You can't. I'm not somebody else. When I do that, but it's marketing 101, right?
Yeah.
It's number one, who's the audience for this? Okay. If you were to change your tone for the audience, you wouldn't like it and it wouldn't be as effective.
No.
So you're being you. And so I think I think that works.
Some of us are better at reading the room. Some of us don't care.
And now it's time for the Plum Stat of the Show. When people flourish, business thrives. Unlock the benefits of 360-degree talent insights at plum.io.
All right, William, you know what that sound means?
I do indeed.
It is the Plum Stat of the Show. According to Plum's research, only 24% of employees would recommend their employer as a great place to work.
Well,
24%.
I mean, it's heartbreaking, right? But
yeah,
I think that number's high, actually, because of the times in which we live right now. It's probably more like 10%. I mean, you think about a great place to work. What is a great place to work? Well, define that by anything that we would have done in 2019 or 20 pre-COVID. It would have been the place. Even not being forced to go to the place, not RTO, it would have just been normal. And you would have had whatever flexibility you had. It would have been the team and the communications and camaraderie and collaboration. And I think we were on the upswing of talking about DEI and things like that. So I think that more people had a lot of, excitement about what the possibility of what we could do with DEI. And
so what is a great place to work today then?
Oh, great question.
I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what makes a great place.
Well, it used to be, so it used to be three things. Above market comp, right? Above market benefits, and above market workplace. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's take that and dissect that, because I won Great Place to Work a couple times. So that was literally the formula. So if you pay people really well, that checks 1/3 of the box of questions that they're going to get asked. If your benefits, at one point we covered family benefits. So not only the individual that worked for the employee, but the entire family. The company covered all the cost. So they didn't have to pay any insurance costs. And that was unusual then, probably really unusual now. But you got to do something with benefits. This is where you get into the pet insurance and, some of those other things that we've talked about. It's got to fit that audience, but then it's got to be more. It's got to be a step 2, 3, 4 above that. And then the workplace, I think now we're not using the definition that we used to. The foosball tables and the stuff that would work back then. I don't think those. I think flexibility has replaced that. So I think I can think someone can still be a great place to work if they hit comp and they hit benefits to cost centers. If they hit those, you've got 2/3 of it. Yeah. Now it's just a matter of, can you react to what the employees, your employees, need now?
But you think 24? I don't think 24% is low. I think.
Wow, yeah.
I think it's. I thought it would be higher than that. Not 50%.
Oh God, no.
But I thought it would be higher.
Oh man, people hate their jobs. I mean, there's just too much data. First of all, the layoffs, and it's not just being laid off; it's hearing about layoffs all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the anxiety, the uncertainty,
right?
All of that.
And no one's paying above market in anything. And they're paying because they have. It's a candidate-rich environment, so it's the employers have all the power. And so that return to office stuff and nixing all the DEI stuff, I don't think you'd hear as much about that in a candidate-driven market where where there's scarcity. I think people would be like, hey, well, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do whatever you want. We need the talent so bad, we'll do whatever. But I think that number's probably inflated.
Wow. I have a much better outlook than you.
You are so.
And there you go, the Plum Stat of the Show.
So, all right, in January, U.S. companies cut just under 50,000 jobs. in January.
50,000?
50,000.
Okay.
50,000. And then there was a correction from April 23 to March 24. They added 598,000 fewer jobs than previously estimated between April 23 and March of 24. So this goes to what we were just previously talking about. But I did, as you guys were talking, I went and looked up because I knew this was going to come up since I didn't have this last time. In January, we added 143 net new positions in the U.S., a little short of the 170,000 that was estimated. Healthcare, retail, social assistance, government added 32,000, oddly, and mining and oil. Actually, mining and oil went down 8,000 jobs, but the others went up 30K plus a piece. So, insights there, Mr. George. Now that I gave you those numbers, anything different from the last job horror numbers that I gave you?
No, I think it's these are like the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like a barometer, is the way I look at it. It's what we have. It's what all the economists use. It's what the banks use. So it's a valid number. We could debate how it's tracked and how they go back and fix it and all that, but it is sort of what it is, as they say. And I think the hard part with the numbers, and it's everywhere. When I look at how much capital came into the space last year, when I look at the jobs report, when I go at the macro level and I see, the jobs added and I see the unemployment rate, it's like, that sounds pretty good. But when you click in one or two layers deeper, you find out, to your point, that there's some industries that are hurting. There's some skills that are, some individuals with certain skills that are hurting, geographies that are hurting more than others. So none of it surprises me at all. I was a little surprised in January that the number was close to what they predicted, more of a positive trend. But not fall off my chair surprised. It was like, okay, well, we'll see how that fares 3 months from now when they adjust it, good or bad.
Two things quickly for me. One is the source of this is Ryan, Fox Business News. Is they're going to
not those in the initial numbers, yes, not the second set was the
right, but they're just all media. Let's just say I don't care about Fox or whatever. It's all media will take the numbers and then interpret it in a way that suits their audience. And again, so looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics and being objective about that's harder. But when you get it from Bloomberg or you get it from somewhere else, you've got their editorial on top of it. So that's one. Two, I find the recalculation happens all the time. Pretty much Little Rock happens. Yeah. But this is interesting because that's April of 23, right around the time that Biden was switched out for Kamala. So it's interesting because they basically inflate. Well, I'm not saying that they did it incorrectly. I'm just saying that the numbers were inflated that showed job growth, which is a very positive thing. So the cynic in me thinks that, that was just all bullshit. And they're just trying to tell a more popular story to get someone elected. Now, I don't know any of that to be true, but that's what I would do. I mean, quite frankly, if I had control over it, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd say the numbers look great. So there's two things. A, when it happened is interesting to me. Two, where you get your news outside of the original source material is also important because there's a layer on top of that that's been editorialized that you have to, you got to fight through. So
there you go.
All right, George. 63% of managers report that interoffice relationships and romances can positively affect a team. which sounds like a nightmare 100% for HR.
I'm looking at George's expression,
and this is
why the fuck did I join this?
This is on SHRM. No. This is all good.
I'm good,
This is on SHRM.org. So this is SHRM. This is an infographic from them, and it got me to think, going through the whole infographic. So go look at it because it's quite fascinating, and it got me to think: are we thinking about this wrong historically? Like okay, if you meet someone, again, take out all the sexual harassment shit. Okay, like that shit. Okay, you should be fucking chained up for that stuff. Okay, but why can't you date someone you work with? You have shit in common. I think I think that's better, in my opinion. Very humble. I think that's better than Tinder. Like, you work next to somebody, or you work on a group with somebody, and it's like, hey man, we get together. You know what? We have a lot in common. Let's go out for a beer. Great. Like, what's wrong with that? And it really got me to think of the origin of this. And again, take all the sexual harassment shit out, because that shit is just fucking evil. Is this a holdover from our Puritan roots? So all the freaks and fucking idiots from Europe came over here because they were having trouble with their own religions over there. So they brought their real fucked up religions over here. And we, like nudity. You go to any other country outside of the Middle East, you go to any other country and you look on TV, regular TV, there's nudity. Not a problem. There's curse words. Not a problem. Like, it just is what it is. You're a fucking adult. You've seen tits before. Like, what the fuck
George,
are we doing here?
We usually get to this point in like 3 minutes. It took us 30 minutes today. This is good.
It's
good.
the thing.
Right.
It's our Puritan roots that make us not have that. So now I apply that to HR. Why would we embrace, hey, listen, again, harassment, bad. Anything outside of that, you like somebody that you work with, cool. So, George, what's been your experience?
I'm surprisingly with you on this, William, I think. So here's the way I feel, and I listen to Scott Galloway on Pivot. I've heard him go on and on about this. We spend more of our time at work than anywhere else. So, and we tend to, when we hire young people, especially in like the world where we come from, we tend to expect them to work even longer than, it's not a 40-hour work week, right? And so of course they're going to meet. Of course that's where they get to know folks. That's where they make their friends. I think, to your point, there just needs to be some real clear policy around all the bad things around, harassment and et cetera. But at the same time, things like, you can't date someone who works for you, or things like, if you're operating within that world, it's already happening. It's happening whether you're allowing it or not. So why not work around that in a way that's healthy for everyone?
Human's gonna human.
Yep.
So I'm with you guys both on this, 100%.
Crazy.
And I know two married couples that came from actually Connexa. They met at Connexa and ultimately have gotten married and have families. Like, they've been together for a long time. But at what point does too much become too much at that point?
Yeah.
You have 7 couples in one department. I mean, it's a bit awkward for the other people, and it creates an uncomfortable environment. But I'm still with you guys, because you're right. We spend a lot of time at work, which is probably why I'm by myself most of the time. It's better that way. But, this is where I get kept, George. This way, it doesn't happen. Anyhow, all right, move on. Let's to the next
George, installing dishwashers and self-ordering kiosks are among strategies Dave's Hot Chicken embraced to counter fast-rising labor costs. This is the Wall Street Journal. So, legit. Businesses are always, in my opinion, looking way to cut costs.
Yeah.
I don't think this is evolutionary. I think it's just, I think that it is evolutionary. It's not revolutionary to me. And, bonus, it lines up with Trump's immigration policy. Too soon?
Oh, what? So what? I don't know. What did they do? They just
dishwashers.
No, they installed automated dishwashers.
Automated dishwasher.
So everything's automated at Dave's Hot Chicken, which I have not been to. So
I've tried
self-ordering
it.
kiosks.
My
I
son
saw
loves
that
it.
first in Amsterdam 15 years ago. At a McDonald's at the airport in Amsterdam. You just went up to, you didn't interact with humans. You just went up to the kiosk.
I'm not a fan of that, by the way. I still have not taken well to that because
really?
I can't find what I want on the damn. I don't need to talk to somebody. I can't find it on the menu.
Huh,
There's
really?
too many things to click to get to or
Sounds
something
like a
to
user error.
A
It does,
young
but
guy
there-
like you, really?
Yeah, but there's some like convenience
get-
stores
get
like
off
your
my
local
lawn.
local people around me, Wawa, like fantastic ordering. Like you click hoagies, you get your hoagies. You go to McDonald's, you got to click like dinner, lunch, burgers, Big Mac, this, that, like burgers. Give me all your burgers and be done with it. Make it simple.
Yeah, that's a usability thing, though. That's a UI,
Yeah.
UX thing
Mhm.
that can be fixed. This
Yeah.
is about, in my opinion, the way I read the article, this is about squeezing out inefficiency to deal
Yeah.
with labor cost.
No, absolutely it is. I'm just saying I don't like it.
George,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I think there's more of it coming. It sounds like evolution, that's where we're headed. Yeah. Yep.
All right. All right, let's do it. Move on.
are we doing acquisitions?
Acquisitions.
I believe you're up first.
I am up first. All right, George, this is acquisitions. So you never sat in on this. We're just going to real quick, rapid fire acquisitions, talk about them, give your thoughts. ADP acquires PEI. It's a lot of letters in Mexico. So ADP has acquired Professional Employer Incorporation. That's PEI. They're based in Mexico. Not sure if you're familiar with this. The goal here for ADP is to strengthen and expand its Latin American roots, obviously specifically in Mexico. But thoughts?
Smart. I've seen such an uptick in investment and new HR tech there. They're sort of, Latin America is behind the U.S. and the rest of the, modern economies when it comes to adoption of HR tech. So there's this opportunity to not just, when you have less adoption and when things are growing, it's not just the opportunity to sort of catch up to where we are, but to actually leapfrog us. There's some really cool stuff happening coming out of Latin America. I think it's a really smart acquisition. There's green field, there's market growth for them in Latin America. So very smart acquisition.
Don't bet against ADP's acquisitions. Historically, they've just done well.
They know what they're doing.
Well, it turns out. So Celerix, that's Selerix, acquires TBX, the benefits experts, to create an all-in-one benefits administration SaaS platform. This is at Celerix, Selerix.com. You can go ahead and read a little bit more about it. This is consolidation. Consolidation is a good thing. When you read it, they had a little bit of overlap, and they'll be able to, kind of like Ultimate Software and Cronus back in the day, they have a little bit of overlap, but now they get to sell to each other's customers. And they're creating a platform that's a better platform for their new prospects and customers. So I look at that acquisition as a good thing. George?
Yeah. 100% market consolidation, especially in a place like benefits admin. The exciting world of benefits admin. I mean, we'll probably see a lot more of that.
It can get exciting. I've won Ryan over because he used to think all that shit was boring. Like everything in HR, I'm like, man, benefits admin. There's some cool shit in benefits admin.
George, this is were we at SHRM when we did this? First interview that comes up to us.
Pet insurance.
Pet insurance.
Ryan
How do we do this?
almost lost his shit.
Yeah.
You
I'm
like
all right,
pet
William, you
insurance, huh?
take this.
It was so great. And I loved it because I loved the bit. It's just like, hey, listen, and again, this was years ago, if you're trying to engage your employees and you're trying to create benefits that employees really care about, and they just so happen to be dog or pet owners, Cool.
No, I've come around on it. I was just kind of taken back. I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So this one's about learning and learning management. What I like about this, and I'll tell you who the acquisition is in a moment, is it's real-time contextual feedback. So this is a management platform where real-time in meetings is providing feedback for the managers during whatever meetings they're in. This performance management platform, but this is 15.5 acquires Kona, which is the AI-powered manager effectiveness coach, blah, blah, blah. I love this space. I think this space is exciting. I don't know why I think it's exciting, but I really think it's exciting that at one point, and I don't have the glasses, but at one point, I'm going to be able to talk to you and something's going to tell me what to ask you back. And I don't have to think about it. Like, it just tells me what it is, and it makes me a better interviewer, a better conversationalist, a better person. I can get my stuff done properly just by seeing it and hearing and conceptualizing what I'm talking about. So I love this. What are you guys thinking?
I'm not as bullish on this. I like the idea of the coach for the manager, but what I've seen is that it's really hard in practice to get adoption on this stuff. Now, I think we're racing toward a time where it could be better, but you think about it, manager on a Zoom with an employee, and the AI brings, William, right? There's the interface of it, like, who am I paying attention to? But then the AI tells me to say something that I'm not comfortable with. And are we sure that the AI has rails around it and it's not pulling from somebody else's policies? And, you know, we've seen AI get a little inappropriate, very inappropriate. And I'm not saying that this product does that, but I think it's not as, I think we're headed there, but my guess is this was probably, it's a cool product. I think 15.5 has a big customer base. They'll do something really cool with it, but it probably wasn't a huge acquisition. I guess I'm betting they don't have the traction 15.5 had.
Way to rain on my parade, George.
I think 15.5 came out of the gate making teams more effective. Like, that was a very singular message, and it was, okay, let's get off email. Let's just do that, and let's make teams more effective and more productive. I love their kind of mission. I'm with George on that. This is a cool idea. Like all cool ideas, will it get adopted? And, we all watch different things on YouTube, but like some of the things that we watch, the producer's in the ear.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I want in my life. I want a producer in my ear.
Right? So it doesn't impact. It could make that experience much better for the person that's getting it.
Agreed.
But it is, again, you have to be skilled at having a producer in your ear when you're talking.
Yeah, so, and now in fairness, I don't know that it's providing like
real-time
feedback to say this, do the. That's what it says. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm digging it. All right, we've got one more acquisition to talk about, and this is with Phenom. So Phenom snaps up its 6th acquisition in company history, picking up a company called Edge. Now, I'm not familiar with Edge, but they help with resource management, filling internal roles faster. That's their whole play here. My thoughts on this is interesting. Phenom is complex. Phenom has always had a bad rap in the industry here as being complex, great or not good. Like, you either love them kind of or you don't. And I've seen both sides of that. I don't know what they've done recently in terms of how they're coming to market or anything like that, but it feels like they still have confusion in the market from people that we're hearing from. And it's hard to kind of know what they are. So, William, I'll start with you. Thoughts?
Yeah. Ryan, they have a conference coming up that you should go to. It's in Philadelphia.
Let me talk to you, Phenom, by the way.
Dude,
I'm 10 minutes from your office, and it's the second year I wasn't invited.
So much hate. So
tell you.
I think you nailed it, Ryan. I think, first of all, I love acquisitions and large companies spending capital to kind of fill in some gaps. I like that for a lot of reasons. I think the thing is when Phenom started, Beamery and a couple others like that, it was really easy to kind of understand what they were and what they weren't. The lines of demarcation were relatively set. And because they've stepped over with this acquisition, they've stepped into the company and into internal mobility in a big way, in a good way. I'm not sure what to classify them as. They're a little bit of a platypus to me. And so that's my biggest thing. And I think that gets to your point about market confusion is, okay, well, where do we use a platform like Phenom? So, George, what do you think?
Hey everybody, Tim Sackett, host of HR Famous, a new podcast on the Work Defined Network. Am I famous? No, I'm HR famous. My wife says I'm a micro celebrity and 13 HR ladies around the world want their picture with me, which I think is funny. So, hey, what do we talk about on the pod? We talk about all the dumb stuff we do in HR in any given day, week, month, and we have fun with it, and we have some great guests. Come check us out. We're not famous. We're HR famous.
I agree with both of you. I think a lot of people are confused about Phenom. To your point, William, I don't know how I would categorize them right now. Right. It used to be in that recruitment marketing CRM space. I met with them at HR Tech, and I met their head of, I can't remember his name, but their head of strategy and corp dev who probably did this deal. And he told me something really interesting. He said when they make an acquisition, they don't integrate that platform. They bring the team over, and they've got a massive development of they rebuild the platform the Phenom way, which also
off
means
the kernel. The kernel.
They rebuild the whole
That's
thing.
Cool.
It's cool, but it's going to take a while, right?
Oh, yeah,
so like that's going to be
because you got to run parallel systems. You have to run that
support customers
right.
while you build it in Phenom, and because it's one platform code base. This is what this is what they said. Now,
but long term, that's a better data play.
Yeah,
for AI.
Yeah. Oh, so I think there are a number of players like Phenom right now that are like they're AI. They have an AI foundation, and I think their challenge is like telling the market who they are, because they can almost do anything. They can almost address any problem in talent acquisition or talent management, but buyers don't think about how do I apply like a tech stack. They think, how do I solve this business problem? And so I great, nothing against Phenom, solid acquisition, but I think it doesn't bolster the brand because I don't think we know what the brand is.
Could not agree more. All right, George, we're going to jump into research here, and I kind of feel like this is your skinny. So, all right, U.S. workers staying put as fewer quit their jobs. This is so in 2024. 39.6 million U.S. workers quit their jobs, which is 11% down from 23 and 22% down from 22, which was the peak during the Great Resignation. So this is really interesting to me. I see two things here, and I think I'm really curious to get your thoughts here on this one, George. But I'm seeing two things. One, I think employees are betting that the grass isn't greener on the other side. And so they're staying put. But second, I think that's being driven by fear of actually leaving. The instability, the insecurity of what am I going to get over here?
Well, that's interesting.
I don't know. And I think the fear of the climate today of everything, whether it's political or just the job market or just I'm not making enough money, like forces them now to just stay, be happy with what they have, and work for their 3% increase each and every year.
What was the TV show behind door number one, where you had to pick the door?
Let's make a deal, right?
Make a deal, and then you could trade. Like, all right, you got that.
Yeah,
but you could trade it.
I'll give you $1,000, or you can have this little box.
That's what I thought of, Ryan. Yeah. So as you spoke, it's like, okay, I can see that playing out in employees' minds. It's like, I know what I got here. I got $1,000. There might be a car behind that next thing, or a bucket of shit.
Or I might, yeah, exactly.
George, did they call the bucket of shit a whammy? Was that what they called it?
Yeah, go whammy.
You don't want the whammy job. I think you're spot on. The first, you used to say first in, last out, right? When you're getting ready to do a riff, the folks who haven't been there long, that's many times an easy cut to make. Uncertainty is rampant in this market from every perspective, whether you're an investor, whether you're a buyer, whether you're an employee. And I think I think staying put and letting things settle down a little bit at this time is probably a good strategy for a career.
Make a deal. George, 62% of employees said that they don't know how their total compensation is calculated, and 46% cited a lack of transparency around pay as a top issue, according to BQAM's 2025 Compensation and Culture Report. And they had over close to 2,000 respondents, so pretty good data. BQAM, BEQOM.com. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly, but it is what it is.
Yep.
So I think that AI will help with total compensation, relay all the aspects of pay, benefits, all that pay stubs, like when we got paper pay stubs back 100 years ago, we could see FICA, we could see Social Security, we could see those things. Now, I think AI will be able to, give people on a very transparent way, give people the access to then say, hey, your benefits cost are this. This is how much will you spend, and this is what we do, and this is what you get. Yep. And so I feel the numbers are correct for right now, but I do believe AI will help kind of mitigate that transparency and communication. So what do you think?
Yeah, I wonder is how my comp, it's how my pay is calculated, so it's the pay stub level. Okay,
right. No, total comp.
Okay.
Total comp. So salary they understand that bit, maybe even bonuses.
Yeah.
But total compensation, they don't even. It's like advanced trigonometry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is complex, and depending on the person, some of it's meaningless, right? Like they might, your benefits package is worth X. Yeah, well, that's okay, but I'm entitled to my benefits package, and I want to know about the cash. So I agree with you. I think AI is going to do a great job deciphering and probably delivering a better experience to, being able to tell you quickly how that's calculated. It doesn't surprise me at all, the numbers, to your point. And I think transparency around pay is probably still going to be an issue because that's when you start to get really transparent, you see what the people next year are making, what people in other regions are making, people who have been around a long time versus folks that were newly hired at a different market rate. Most companies don't open that up. They don't like to open it up, but I think those that do have at least they've got a better relationship around that data with their employees. But yeah,
that right there, opening up pay transparency to people in the office next to each other, I'm not a fan of that. I just think that's a recipe for disaster across the board.
I'll play counterpoint real quick, Ryan.
I know you like that. You like transparency on the pay stuff.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Eventually, it's going to come out. So what the company is doing, I mean, first of all, compensation is very difficult. So let's just start with that is difficult because you go through highs and lows. And you've got pay compression where you can't give people raises, and all of a sudden you got these new skills, and they're going to be making twice what somebody that's been there for 10 years. Like, it is difficult, but it forces companies to do the right thing. Without transparencies, companies can just say, yeah, it is what it is. And comp departments can behave like that. Not that they want to, but they can. Whereas with transparency, they have to adjust. They have to make those hard adjustments. And so, and again, I think it's going to come out anyhow.
Yeah,
so,
I understand both sides. Personally, I would not want the person next to me knowing what I'm making.
That's fair.
I mean, and it could be because I'm earning too much, or it could be because I'm very well below everybody else, and that's embarrassing. And so it could go both ways from the employee standpoint, not from the employer.
Of course,
it could be embarrassing. Now, I could use that and say, okay, why am I not here? Right? Then it creates, that conversation. But I do think it creates an issue in the employee population. It's just I've always felt about it.
Side note for everyone listening, I think we just created a company just like that does that. I think we just created an AI company, the three of us. So
All right, I'll hit pause and let's get moving.
Right. No, seriously. Who's doing that? Yeah.
The three of us.
No, yeah.
All right. I've got one more research for you, George.
Okay.
And this one, I love this one. It's the hidden toll of meeting hangovers. That's what I'm calling it. So a recent study that was published by HBR, Harvard Business Review, highlights the effects of meeting hangovers. So I'm going to throw some numbers out there. I want to just kind of get both of your gut reactions. I can tell by your expressions, but George, we'll go to you first. Employees spend an average of 392 hours per year in meetings, with a significant portion, don't have a number, just significant portion, deemed unnecessary or unproductive. 71% of meetings are considered unproductive, and unproductive meetings cost U.S. companies $37 billion annually. Those are the numbers that they came out with. What do you think about that?
So they're summing up the old, this meeting could have been an email really, really nicely. I think if you think it feels bad now, and looks bad now, wait until return to office, anybody forcing that, because it's not just going to be on Zoom where, you can pretend. You've got to actually go to a conference room and sit there.
Can't multitask.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have a perennial problem. It's really hard to solve is poor managers, whether it's managing people, managing a meeting. And I think it's hard. It's hard because you said it earlier, William, humans are going to human, but there's so much waste in the world of meetings. But yeah,
I think these numbers go up. To George's point around RTO, I think one of the ways that they're going to justify is to have more meetings. And so I think that people right now, if they think there is an ineffective, I think that 2 years from now, people will be like, I honestly don't know how we get work done, because we're just going from meeting to meeting. So yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't count the water cooler breaks or
right.
The 30-minute bathroom breaks and all of that stuff. Cigarette breaks.
Life hack for those that are listening. There's two things. One is, if you are in person, have standing meetings, meaning you stand. There's no furniture. There's no table. You just stand. And trust this, that meeting will go really fast.
People want to go sit.
2, have meetings with no electronics. So whatever the meeting is, there's no phone, there's no laptops, there's none of that. You literally, note paper. Great. That meeting will go fast. 3, and finally, is have an agenda. I mean, this goes back to all the things that we've known. You don't have a meeting unless you have the right person that can make a decision, and a stated agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it is a design charrette or a brainstorming meeting. Okay, that's different.
Yeah. But
most meetings aren't that.
Yeah, and the right person to run the agenda.
100%.
We've had recently with a client, like, a perfect agenda. He ran the meetings and agenda perfectly. Brought us back in. All right, stop talking. Come back. We're going to go to. Like, all right, that's fantastic. Kind of like that. I just push us on.
I like that. All right, George. 10% of adults say their manager positively influences their daily lives. That's 1 in 10, if you want to go, or 10 out of 100 for those math challenged. Second to family members at 57%. This is from Gallup. And it got me to think, is that the job of a manager? So go back to that positively influences their daily life. And, take that phrase, then go, is this about attaboys and backslaps and compliments and things like that? And it got me, again, Gen X, it got me to think, we're here to work and add value. And it could be my personality that's getting in the way of the analysis, but it's like, I don't give a shit about saying attaboys or whatever, because I don't need them myself. I don't thrive in an environment where people give me positive feedback. So it's a job. The company's paying you to do the job. Whether or not it positively influences your daily life, I don't give a fuck. You're paid. That's what the positive influence in your life is you have a job and there's a check. Now, Brian, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think?
I think you love positive feedback.
Shit.
Number one. You know what? Are they affecting the life positively in or outside of the workplace? If the 10% seems low to me, if the manager's only affecting 10% positively and it's in this report is in the office, that's a problem for me. That needs to be much, much higher. Like that should be
kept it broad. It kept it broad to their daily lives. So
yeah,
in and out.
Yeah. Well, I think that number needs to be higher then, because you're spending 8 to 10 hours a day in the office. And if you're only 10% feeling better, if they're only positively affecting your life 10%, that's not a lot of positivity in life. You're going home pretty pissed off.
You get a check.
Yeah, but I can get a check anywhere. If my manager,
you gave us a bunch of unemployment stats.
Yeah, I mean, let's do the flip here. So 90% of my manager's making my life shit for 90% of my time.
It's not positively influencing, right? They're not negatively influencing. It's just they're not positively influencing. I don't think that changed anything for you, but anyhow. George, what about you?
First, I want to say each of you, great job on those answers. You both, some positive feedback for each of you.
That sounds like an attaboy.
Okay. I think, so if it's about the family versus the manager impacting their life, I think it's got to be about outside of work. Because my family doesn't really impact my on the job. And I think, your employer is not your family as much as they, we treat everybody like family here. No, right. They don't. No, they don't. It's not like that. It's a job. And I think that stat is reinforcement for anybody who's ever said that. You're picking a job, not a family. So that's what I think.
I love it. Enough said right there.
This next category, funding, is right in your wheelhouse.
All right, bring it.
Okay.
By the way, for the audience, I have no idea what these there's zero, the most controversial topics to the most, business oriented. Like it is
fair.
We gave you these questions last week. Stop.
Fair. Yeah. No. Fair enough. We do this with guests because we don't want them to prepare.
I love it. I'm loving it.
Because if they prepare, then the responses get a little bit watered down. All right. So funding, we got about 8 of these. Let's go. Questal, that's Questal, secures $3.2 million to transform personal financial management with AI. This is Fintech.global. Has the story, but it's on several websites. So this is financial wellness products for employees, and it's using AI to help them with decision making and in efficiency. I think that's a great benefit for employees because we're terrible at managing money, generally speaking. And so something actually telling us, invest in this, don't invest in this, put savings here, like The AI product doesn't have it's not going to have a personal take. It's just going to tell you how to optimize. Yes. And so I think it's a cool benefit. George, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a great elective benefit. Like if you're providing that for an employee, if they take advantage of it, they're going to get the huge ROI for anybody who engages in that. If they don't take advantage of it, that's fine too. But I think it's good stuff.
All right. George, you're going to love this one because I believe you are the one who has turned me on to these guys. 11 Labs, they raised another $180 million in a Series C. So you'll be able to get your AI voices for a very long time to come. Just saying. George turned me on to these guys a while back because I believe you use them for your podcast, right?
Yeah, for the intro. Yeah.
I have used this for so many things just for fun. Like, I just use it for a lot of shit now. It's pretty cool. Anyhow, it's for those who don't know, 11 Labs is the AI voice tech company. They secured another 180 million Series C that pushes them to a 3.3 valuation. They're backed by Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia, big time investors, big time potential. Where do they go from here is my question. I mean, there's a ton of opportunity here, but George, since you use them, I'll let you run through this real quick. Where does 11 Labs go from here?
Netflix has a new, monstrous story to tell. In 1950s Wisconsin, Ed Gein lived quietly on a decaying farm, hiding a house of horrors so gruesome it would redefine the American nightmare. Driven by isolation, psychosis, and an all-consuming obsession with his mother, he committed crimes that would haunt Hollywood for decades. The third and most harrowing installment of Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan's anthology series. Watch Monster, the Ed Gein story, October 3rd, only on Netflix.
They've got a huge opportunity, right? There's the content space where, like what I did is very small. They did an intro, but if you think about how voice is becoming an interface for AI, if they're able to somehow become that voice layer, because you know what annoys me? Those audio podcasts that are done by AI, it's the same two voices, every time. It's that woman and man, and everything about their tone, everything's their cheeky personalities, exactly the same. Everywhere I bump into them, and I think they have an opportunity to allow folks to pick a line of voice with their brand. It's not just the voice; it's the tone, the personality.
It's very good.
It's really they go pretty deep on it. So I think they're probably going to show up like white labeled, for lack of a better term, in a lot of products. That's my guess.
Yeah, if you play with their sensitivity and their disparity and all that stuff, you can make it sound like we're talking now in like it's pretty good. And they've got a ton of good voices in there too.
Yeah. I just want it to sound like Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, and Christopher Walken. That's what I want. No, Christopher Walken would be great. Let's just stop there. The thing for me on this one, Ryan, is backed by Andreessen and Sequoia. Don't bet against those two. They typically do well.
Yeah.
So, I just don't bet against them. All right, George. Noxus, Noxus, helps enterprises build their own AI workforces, raises $1.5 million. This is on the SaaSnews.com, which is a wonderful website. So its mission is to bridge the gap between powerful AI models and the people using them. And of course, this is editorial. And then it'll learn how stupid humans are and do their job. I'm kind of kidding. I'm not kidding. So I love the play. First of all, there's an efficiency there that will be initially felt for humans, but I also see the darker underbelly of once it figures out how stupid we are, then we'll be outdated. So, George, take a positive spin on that, maybe. Or don't.
I think I heard Reid Hoffman say that, the Netflix founder, say big on AI, and he said if your job is robotic, it's probably going to get replaced by a robot, by AI, and that is I think where this comes into play. So I think there's the positive spin would be the part of my job that's robotic. But I think there are a lot of, like, if you think about scheduling, there used to be, just in our space in talent acquisition, there would be dozens of interview schedulers in these large enterprises. They're gone. They really don't exist anymore. And that's the kind of job that has already been replaced. And I think so. This is what's coming. So we talked about upskilling and reskilling. You want to be the one leveraging this technology or getting your skills to a place where you're not as threatened quickly, because that's a train at the end of the tunnel.
All right. I'm going all the way out to Egypt for a company called Kazna. I might get that wrong. I apologize if I do. Kazna Banks secured $16 million for its financial, in air quotes, super app, an expansion into Saudi Arabia. Have you guys heard of these guys?
No.
No. All right. So it's an Egyptian fintech company. I haven't heard of them until the other day, and I went and did some research on them. So let me throw this number at you. Did you know that nearly 3 million Egyptians live in Saudi Arabia?
They're the ones building it.
There you go.
Seriously, that's not a good thing, Ryan.
No,
They're the slaves that are building all that shit.
So here's why I asked that. So hang on. Give me a sec, guys. Get rid of this fucking shit here.
I love you so much.
Oh,
so great.
I put the fucking notifications on my thing, and Steven is texting, and I can't get it to stop. Hold on, let me just tell him.
And Ryan, when you said, okay, so Egyptian Kazna Bank, that's another word for raises. So it's Kazna. It's not Kazna Bank or bank. Just for our edification, maybe even for the audience's edification, they might be thinking Kazna's a bank.
Give me a sec.
I'm
not even hearing you. Hold on, give me a sec. I can't. I'm frozen, dude. I try to be like efficient with this fucking app thing, and now it's like, am I moving for you guys? Because I'm frozen and I can't.
I'm not looking at you.
You good? Well, that's good.
I'm looking past you, son. It's Jay-Z reference. In fact, he goes on to say, dudes, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking past you. Which is life lesson. Don't pay attention to the stupid fucking people in front of you.
All right, I think I got it. Let me try to get this in. If it knocks me out, no, it's not going too good. All right, I'm back.
All right, go.
You guys got me? All right. What were you saying about banking now?
Yeah, they didn't banking. You referenced Egypt's Kazna Bank. And banks, that's a synonym for raises. So the top line.
Right. Yeah.
I just changed it. So it isn't banks. I just don't want you to think it's a bank. It's more important than anybody else. But also for the audience, it's not a fucking bank.
Yeah. I'm going to redo the whole bit.
Okay.
Come back in.
All right, do it.
Hold on, let me do.
We just come out of Noxus. So just do the swoosh. I mean, the money sound.
Yeah. I'll get rid of this piece so you don't say slaves. Hang on.
Is that a bad thing? I'm serious. Is that a bad thing? There's always been slaves. Slaves built the fucking pyramids. Slaves built the Great Wall of China. They built Machu Picchu. Like, slaves build shit. You're never going to get rid of slavery. There's more slavery today than the totality of slavery in humankind. And it's just called sex trafficking and sex workers.
All right. So I don't want to talk about slaves.
Oh, all right.
I got to put a cap on them at some point, George.
Fair enough.
So I have till 1:30 because I have to go kick off that call.
Go.
All right.
Go.
Ready,
we're waiting on you. Put the dollar up.
I'm going to do that again. Stop it. All right, George. I got one here.
All right.
I feel bad like we keep giving these to George.
Oh,
So
this is his wheelhouse, man.
this is his wheelhouse. All right,
That's what he
so there's
does.
a company in Egypt. It's called Kazna. They raised $16 million for their financial app and expansion into Saudi Arabia. So it's a fintech company based in Egypt.
Okay.
And so they are expecting 40 to 50% of their business to come from Saudi Arabia in the next 4 years. So the key for me is that they are focusing on serving unbanked or underbanked communities. So they have 500,000 users at the moment. About 100,000 of these workers earn 3 times less than Egypt's minimum wage. So for the remaining 400,000, they're helping them with their banking. For the remaining 400,000, they're offering lending services and helping gig workers and I guess in pension access and things like that. But for the 100,000, 3 times less they earn from the minimum wage in Egypt. Anyhow, these are the people that they're serving to bring banking to them. So they raised $16 million. I love it. I don't know anything about them, but I like the idea. What say you?
On its face, I like it too. I think I don't know anything about them, and I don't know anything about the laws over there, but we've had bad experiences here with things like payday loans and companies that will take advantage of
the unbanked.
Yeah, of the unbanked. Yeah, here. And so I hope that it is what it sounds like, which is providing an environment for them to have a bank. That's a challenge for some people, just to have a banking relationship, and then to work with their money, sort of financial wellness type opportunities. And I hope that's what it is. Sounds good on the headline.
The unbanked, generally speaking, is immigrants and poor. Yeah. They can be two different things. It's a Venn diagram. I think Saudi Arabia, of everything I know about Saudi Arabia, is you've got to have the prince's blessing. It's like the Sultan of Brunei. If you do business, which I did, if you do business in Brunei, the Sultan or someone of the Sultan's team, they sign off. Nothing happens in Brunei without the Sultan giving its approval. So if I would dig into that 16 million and probably see that somebody's related, because nothing's going to happen in Saudi Arabia without approval. So it's a cool market. Don't get me wrong. Like all of the Middle East is cool because they're underdeveloped. They're like South America in that way. They're underdeveloped, underserved. But this one, different from some other countries, you've got to have permission. Yeah. You've got to, and if you do that, that's cool. I think George nailed it with the unbanked. As long as it's not predatory, that's cool. It's great for them. All right, George, we got two last funding news. One is How Now raises £7.5 million to scale AI-powered learning and skills platform. This is on hrtechcube.com. Okay. So you go look up. First of all, I love the name. How Now? How Now, brown cow? Personalized AI agents shadow employees, helping them learn skills that they need at that time. I think of that in my mind. I think of what we used to call just-in-time, JIT. And I think of that as just-in-time skills development. So I don't know if that's exactly what they're doing, but if it is, I like that. It's Ryan's, there's an agent here. You're going into a situation, you don't have those skills. You need to learn some stuff. So how now, brown cow? What do you think, George?
I think learning, this whole agentic movement, learning, there's a huge opportunity there. That would be cool if it knows what you have and what you don't have, or it sort of shadows you and just knows you're going to need a little help, or even if you can ask it for help. I think that's great. I think there's so much about, especially in the knowledge workspace, where anything from needing to do something internally, like file an expense report, to how do I, code or, build, I'm stuck on a technical challenge. So many opportunities for a layer of tech there to help.
Last one. Nodes and Links raises $12 billion to transform how construction teams manage projects. This is all via AI-powered tools to streamline workflows, predict risk, deliver real-time insights, empower teams to compete faster, more efficiently, and sustainably. So Nodes Links is just as it sounds, NODESLINKS.com. So let's just start with the basics. The global construction industry is over 12 trillion annually. And I believe that's a conservative number because there's a bunch of countries that we don't have data from. So I think the efficiency gain will help that. It'll help them to take on more projects because usually construction companies are constrained by the amount of projects they can do simultaneously. So I do worry a bit about how it impacts humans with construction jobs, but I like the efficiency, and it's a huge market. So Nodes and Links. Wait, what do you got, George?
Yeah. I like that it's focused on project management. That makes sense because, at this point, we can't really automate the folks climbing on the scaffolding quite yet. But it's a huge market. I can tell you, anybody who's built a house or waited for an office to be built knows these projects generally go long, over budget, small projects, big projects, commercial, residential. I think any place where we can help planning, estimation, project management sounds like a great opportunity.
Yeah, and I don't think it hurts the workers. Is that what you were thinking?
I don't. Yeah, I usually don't care about the workers, so I'll start with that. But I in some ways I would worry how it impacts them, but I love the efficiency.
Yeah, I think it impacts them in a positive way.
Potentially.
If this works the way it's supposed to,
right?
More jobs, more sites, more
That's
development.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, good point.
I mean, lose a project manager or 3 to hire 200, construction employees. It makes sense to me. So,
George, you have been a trooper.
Yeah,
absolute trooper. Come on the bar, came into the jungle.
Yeah,
you had takes. Thank you so much for your time.
I enjoyed
patience.
That. Anytime.
Yeah. And for those who are listening, thank you all so much for listening, for watching, subscribing, liking, love us everywhere. And till next time.